Why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent? I mean, let me just be honest. I mean, I see lighter sentences for murder. So why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent drug charge?
Miss Ledoux, the Louisiana Parole Board member, asked a question that I think all of us are thinking and also ask all the time. How is it possible that chomos and murderers get lighter sentences than dealers? I mean, this man was a devil lettuce dealer. He does have one count of dealing Pepsi, so he's not a complete angel, but his other two counts or convictions were for dealing the devil's lettuce. And what happened was is that they said 3 strikes, you're out. The habitual offender bill, they sentenced him to life. He was going to die in Angola, where he was initially sentenced. But because of recent legislation, Act 122, he was given a chance at parole. And now here he is today. So with that, let's jump in.
Mr. Banks, you're classified as a fourth felony offender, currently serving a life sentence. You were sentenced, you're serving a life sentence for attempted possession with intent to distribute marijuana, possession with intent to distribute marijuana, and as a habitual offender, possession with intent to distribute cocaine. You have a parole eligibility date, which has passed. It's October 27th of 2022. You do not earn good time. So is all that information correct, Mr. Banks?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Banks, tell us why you're there. Why are you in prison serving a life sentence for dealing and using drugs? What have you done since you've been in prison that you would make you believe we should vote favorably for you?
Well, I have a better insight on life since I've been incarcerated, and I've accomplished my ISET. I have taken several vocational skills as well as other self-help programs. And if given the opportunity, I would like to give back to society what I've taken away. I've grown to know that in selling drugs, I've destroyed a lot of people's lives. Not only my family, but people in the community as well.
Right. And we'll get a little more information from you when we do our interviews. But first, let's hear from Warden Green. Is there anything you can tell us about Mr. Banks?
He's been housed here since 2016. He's currently in medium custody. He doesn't currently have a job due to some duty restrictions, health concerns. He does have numerous vocational classes that he's taken. He has his high school equivalency. He hasn't had a disciplinary report since 2019. I guess the only thing I could say negative about Mr. Banks is he's got numerous aggravated sex offense write-ups, and throughout all of his classes that he's taken, I don't see where he's even attempted to get the sex offender treatment. That's about the only thing I can say negative about it.
Okay, well, thank you. We appreciate it. Mr. Myers, we'd like to hear from the Parole Project.
Yes, good morning, Kerry Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project. We're here on behalf of David Banks today to support his parole. Mr. Banks is serving a life sentence, as you stated, for nonviolent offenses. He would have had a parole hearing in 2022, except that his health, he was actually hospitalized. He had to have surgery. He had to have a second surgery earlier this year, but he is on his way to recovery. Also stated was that he has multiple programs, both vocational and cognitive programs. Mr. Banks, and talking to him just earlier this week, certainly recognizes the fact that while he was not a user, he dealt drugs for money, and he understands fully that the harm that caused to his community and the people that he sold to. He has a supportive parole project. He has a long-term residence here in Baton Rouge. He'll be also connected to us locally because of that. We're prepared to help him through this transition with employment, with the skills that he needs, with the life skills, financial, technology, social norms. He'll be evaluated by our social workers. He's been a member of AANA while he's been incarcerated. He'll continue to do that once he is released, not because he used, but because he understands that his drug dealing harmed people's lives, and he can relate to that. He can actually be a positive force through that. So we'd ask this board to consider Mr. Banks today and grant his parole.
Thank you, sir. Could we hear from Miss Mary Sampson, please?
I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. What would you like us to know about your son?
I believe that in the time that he's been incarcerated, he's learned a lot. He's worked to develop skills that could help him to grow on the outside, and that the things that he's done, I noticed that the growth that he's made in the time that he's been incarcerated has helped him to change a lot of positive in his life. He's changed a lot of attitude about how he felt about what he was doing. And the fact that he really want to make a difference in his life, in the lives of others. That has been a real help for me in knowing that he's really ready to take responsibility for himself, and the support that he will have on the outside that he can lean on and depend on, helping him to grow at this point. I'm here to support him. He has other family members that are here to support him. His sisters are available as well as other family members. I'm very proud of the fact that he's worked to enhance his life, to grow, and to make positive changes for himself. Is there any particular questions that you would like to ask me other than that?
Oh, ma'am, thank you very much for sharing those remarks with us. We'd at this time like to hear from Miss Addison.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, tell us what you want us to know.
At this time, I would love to speak on my father's behalf and advise that I miss him. I've been without a father my whole life. I'm sure you all can see his criminal history. And this has been a tough battle for us. We've been working to try and get him on the right path, and I believe he has made progress. He's done the things that it takes in order to show that he's ready for society to accept him. I'm willing to accept him. He has a home to come home to. He has stability here with us here in Louisiana or in California, whichever he chooses to decide where he wants to be. I just hope that you all could give him just one more opportunity to see what he can do in order to enhance the world here outside those walls.
Okay. Thank you so much. Mr. Banks, your case has been assigned to Mrs. Ledoux. Would you answer her questions?
Mr. Banks,
Yes, ma'am.
what year did you go into prison this last time?
He's worked to develop skills that could help him to grow on the outside, and that the things that he's done, I noticed that the growth that he's made in the time that he's been incarcerated has helped him to change a lot of positive in his life. He's changed a lot of attitude about how he felt about what he was doing. And the fact that he really want to make a difference in his life, in the lives of others. That has been a real help for me in knowing that he's really ready to take responsibility for himself, and the support that he will have on the outside that he can lean on and depend on, helping him to grow at this point. I'm here to support him. He has other family members that are here to support him. His sisters are available as well as other family members. I'm very proud of the fact that he's worked to enhance his life, to grow, and to make positive changes for himself. Is there any particular questions that you would like to ask me other than that?
Oh, ma'am, thank you very much for sharing those remarks with us. We'd at this time like to hear from Miss Addison.
Good morning.
Morning. Go ahead, tell us what you want us to know.
At this time, I would love to speak on my father's behalf and advise that I miss him. I've been without a father my whole life. I'm sure you all can see his criminal history. And this has been a tough battle for us. We've been working to try and get him on the right path, and I believe he has made progress. He's done the things that it takes in order to show that he's ready for society to accept him. I'm willing to accept him. He has a home to come home to. He has stability here with us here in Louisiana or in California, whichever he chooses to decide where he wants to be. I just hope that you all could give him just one more opportunity to see what he can do in order to enhance the world here outside those walls.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Banks, your case has been assigned to Mrs. Ledoux. Would you answer her questions?
Mr. Banks,
Yes, ma'am.
what year did you go into prison this last time?
2007.
2007.
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like you woke up and started taking classes around 2013. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Well, I've taken a few, I was taking a few classes at Sensationalize at a few satellite camps. I took a few classes there, and the few that I was able to take when I was in Angola as well, due to the life sentence that I had, I was very limited to the programs that was offered. So I had to take what I could take at the time.
So with the life sentence, why were you trying to take classes?
Well, I felt as though that I needed to better myself. I seen that I had destroyed some people. I've destroyed lives, selling drugs. And that's not the way that life was meant to be. Took me a minute. But I see what I done. And I know that I did wrong. I look back and I see children without shoes. And I say to myself sometimes, I might have been that person that took that from them. And I know that I was wrong for doing so because I wasn't raised that way. I was never raised that way to be that person. So I had to make a change in my life. I had to take some type of stand for myself and understand that life is not just surrounded by you. You have other people that you're hurting as well. So I needed to just take a look at myself and just try to bring out what's
In your opinion, I mean, I can read, I have sentencing minutes and I can read what's on the paper. Why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent? I mean, let me just be honest. I mean, I see lighter sentences for murder. So why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent drug charge?
can't really answer that. Only thing I can say that I've been selling drugs and I've had numerous chances. And I feel as though the judge gave me that at that time. He felt that's what I needed right now. I need, because it gave me the opportunity to realize that I'm sitting here with a life sentence, not knowing if I ever get out. But I need to make a change within myself, where I'm at, right here, right now. So through the years I've been incarcerated, I see those changes through programs that I've taken.
It may have been a good thing for you to have been in with that attitude, knowing that you're looking at a lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So your health is improving, you said?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
I don't have any further questions.
So, were you addicted to the money?
I was addicted to the money. I was addicted to it. The money was something that I used for a crutch. And I thought I was doing the right thing, but I knew deep inside me, I knew I was wrong. And
Did you
I,
ever do a paying real legal W-2 job?
yes, ma'am. I've always had a job. I've had plenty of jobs. I have plenty of skills. I'm a cement finisher, roofing, cook. You know, I have plenty.
You just
Yeah.
wanted more.
I've been working all my life. I wasn't raised this way.
Well, now I hear your mom, listening to your mom, I know that's the case. You just wasn't satisfied.
No, I took the street life on my own. My mom never smoked. I've never seen my mom drink. Nothing.
How many children you have?
I have two.
We heard from one. Do you have your daughter? Do you have a relationship with the other
Yes,
child?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. She's in Houston, in Texas, rather.
So you have
I told her this every week.
California and Texas
Excuse me,
family.
sir.
You have family, Louisiana, California, and Texas.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, I don't see any other questions. I think, what I think about you is that we'd have locked you up a long time when you first got arrested, your very first offense. We wouldn't be looking at you today, probably. Might would have got your attention back then, huh?
It's been a big eye opener for me. It's really happened.
Yep. All right, I think we're prepared, Mrs. Ledoux.
Mr. Banks, you can well imagine the scope of sentences I see before me in this job, and life sentence for nonviolent drug is, you've been in over 16 years. My vote today is to grant parole to the Parole Project until such time as you make long-term arrangements. I'd like for you to stay there at least 9 months. And then you can make some long-term arrangements where you feel like it's best for you to be. And I would encourage you to continue with AA and NA once a week, at least for the first 6 to 8 months, to keep your mind straight on why you went to prison. Okay?
All right.
I'm going to concur with Mr. Ledoux, but add the condition that you stay out of the high crime areas. And if you don't know where they are, ask your parole officer. They probably still the same as where you used to go.
Yes.
And that you complete 2 days community service per week until you're gainfully employed. If you have a job, you don't have to do the community service work. If you're unemployed, you're going to have to do the community service work. We just don't want you out there with nothing to do.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Banks, my vote is the same, to grant you parole with the special conditions that have been spoken by my colleagues. You understand all those conditions?
Yes, ma'am.
Like to you, sir.
Thank each and every one of y'all for accepting me.
You do realize that on a life sentence, when you paroled, if you mess up, you go back to life.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
What a hearing. And really, I think that this man, he stands out, he sticks out, he shows us what others can do while locked up to really work on themselves. Now, keep in mind, he had a life sentence. He wasn't expecting this parole hearing. It was only because of recent legislation in Louisiana, Act 122, that said, hey, if you have served more than 25 years of your sentence and you're older than 45 years old or something like that, maybe 20 years and 45 years old, you can now, magic poof, be eligible for parole. That's why Kerry Myers there of the Louisiana Parole Project, because he falls under Act 122. And this is the first time I was happy to see Kerry Myers, right? He's actually here for someone who should be here. But what's amazing about this man really is he just seems so happy. He seems so full of life, not resentful. None of it seemed like an act, completely genuine, real insight. I mean, this was the kind of hearing that I feel like we have been waiting for. And I got to tell you, it's really like this is, I wasn't sure if I should play this hearing alone or to play it side by side, but on today's same docket, they had two other people who were locked up for dealing, and they had horrible hearings. They did not have the insight. They did not work on themselves. They did not. They're saying, what I did wasn't so bad. You know, it was. They weren't being straight up about it. They had horrible hearings, and they were denied. And this is like something that he really created this situation for himself where he got paroled by a parole board that does not parole a lot of people. And we'll go over his crimes. He could have been resentful. He could have been in there resentful because he made it onto this report. For example, he was found guilty by a non-unanimous jury, which they find federally unconstitutional to sentence someone for life for, and he the third felony that got him the 3 strikes wasn't even a big, it was he was running from the, well, read it, he was running from the cops. They arrested him, and then they said that he threw narcotics on the ground, and it was like a couple grams of Pepsi or something, which he claims wasn't his. He claims that they set him up. And it wasn't like he was a dealing, you get it? It was like he was, and that got him in life. So let me read it to you. So I'll read you the first. So thank you, Sir Richard, for pulling this. It's pulling this research. So this is, let me show you. This is the first charge that we found. His first appeal. He got a 10-year sentence in 1996, and you know it's quite a simple thing. But this was, I think, his second felony, maybe his first. But because there was no trial, there's very little factual information about the incident offenses. According to the prosecutor's factual basis for the guilty plea made, the defendant was arrested on January 2nd, 1996, after the defendant failed at a stop sign. So we failed to stop at a stop sign. So then the police said, "Oh, we're going to stop you." And of course, you know, let's be real. This is before cameras and whatnot. Who knows if you really failed to stop at the stop sign or not? A high-speed chase through a residential neighborhood began, during which he ran a second stop sign. The defendant pulled into a vacant lot, exited the vehicle, and fled on foot. Although he momentarily escaped, canine dogs were called in to locate him. So he did escape, but they called in the dogs, and they found them hiding under a building approximately 50 feet from where he had last been observed. Inside the abandoned vehicle, the police discovered approximately 10 grams of Pepsi and over 83 grams of the devil's lettuce. So, you know, that's a small score. It's not a big time dealer. He got 10 years for that. Now, let's see what the PSI says. I'm just curious. However, the defendant persuaded the judge to release him pending the preparation and presentation investigation for the PSI. Okay, so the judge did let him out. It would be a big help if I could work for a little while, at least to help my old lady just take care of a few bills while I go to boot camp and get my GED. Be a big help to her, let you know she's going to school at the least. Persuaded by the defendant's plea and the opportunity to provide financial assistance to his family, the judge did let him out on post-conviction bail. He set the bond at $5,000. Look, devil's always in the detail. So let's just find the facts. Okay, he warned, So I think that he probably violated. On September 19, 1996, the defendant was sentenced for both convictions. At the sentencing hearing, defense counsel noted that the PSI revealed previously undisclosed felony convictions for possession of Pepsi. So he didn't. He actually went out and stayed out of trouble. But the PSI, the pre-sentencing investigation, disclosed found undisclosed felony convictions for possession of Pepsi. Possession, not distribution, possession. This disqualified the defendant from eligibility for the intensive incarceration program. Okay, so he wasn't going to sentence him in prison. He was going to say you'll go in a boot camp program. Defense counsel further noted that during his interim release, the defendant had failed narcotics tests. So here's something interesting. I was loving this hearing, but he said that he never used. He said he was only a dealer. So I don't know if he's being so honest. Judge Saya noted that the defendant had also failed to meet the probation officer. So he really flunked on this one. Thereafter, the defendant filed a motion to reconsider the sentence in 3 separate hearings, January 14, 1997, February 19, 790, blah, blah, blah. Judge ultimately rejected the defendant's claim. Judge Downing had promised him probation or at most 3-year sentence. In making the ruling denying the motion to reconsider, the judge examined the record, particularly Boykin. He concluded that there were no evidence to support the defendant's claim of promise of probation or maximum sentence 3 years. Look, he failed to meet the probation officer and he tested positive. So, judges will throw books at you. 10 years is still a lot. But again, this isn't a life sentence. This is 1997. And, maybe he did stop doing narcotics later on. Who knows? But so this is one appeal. And as we can say, look, nothing's black and white. Okay. The defendant asserts that because he receives a suspended sentence for the felony conviction of possession of Pepsi, he qualified for the intensive incarceration program. All right. So there's that. There's nothing else here. And they said it wasn't an excessive sentence. Of course not. Now we'll go to this article. So you see this is page 29 and 39. Thank you, Sir Richard, for finding this thing in the middle of nowhere. And Justice and Truth Roadmap. Lady Holly's in Australia. So when I was looking at this, I said, I said, Sir Richard, I would love to do this right now. And Sir Richard jumped in and did it. It's just, I have the best team in the world. I don't know if you guys know who Sir Richard and Lady Holly are, but they're like an anomaly. They're incredible. I've spoken about them a lot, so I won't do it right now. But if you don't know who they are, leave a comment and I'll respond in the comment. Pin it. Okay, so similarly, among the individuals with non-unanimous jury. So again, as you can see, this is the Justice and Truth Roadmap submitted in the Equal Justice Task Force, December 27, 2021. And they're talking about all the problems of Louisiana. And they give, it's pretty scary. So it's the executive summary is April 20th, 2020. More than 1,500 Louisianians heard the U.S. Supreme Court say that they always need to be true. Their convictions were wrongful. So these are the 1,500 Louisianians who were convicted by a non-unanimous jury. And he falls in this bucket. And they're still locked up. And, that's like a controversial thing. And they say Louisiana spends at least $78,826 incarcerating men and women who have convictions that the U.S. Supreme Court has found to be unconstitutional. The state has spent more than $48 million incarcerating these individuals since The U.S. Supreme Court ruled these convictions unconstitutional in 2020. $48 million from 2020 to what? To 2021? How's that possible for 1,500 people? Under JTL, the state would appropriate 4.5 million additional funding for district attorney office and 4.5 million for, okay. Anyways, as you can see, it's pretty crazy. Now let's go to him. So similarly, along the individuals of non-unanimous jury convictions, Mr. David Banks, the man who we just saw, a 53-year-old man who was sentenced to life in prison for Pepsi possession under Louisiana extreme habitual offender statute. Originally sentenced to 20 years, so he was originally sentenced 20 years. And again, this is interesting when we're talking about Pepsi. I wonder if Miss Ledoux, I don't know. I don't think we'll get all the facts and have clarity. It's not going to take away from the fact for me that I think he had a great hearing, but but it's not as transparent as maybe we thought. I don't know. None of it makes a difference to me. The point is that he started working on himself and he had no expectations of ever getting out. But I guess there is a little more to it, and we're reading about it. Mr. Banks was charged as an habitual offender and resentenced to life without parole. We've seen this happen many times. So people get sentenced, and then the DA would come back and say, nope, you're an habitual offender, 3 strikes. Now you're getting a new sentence. We covered someone who broke into cars, got his 3rd felony for breaking into cars, and he didn't even have it. He wasn't even a dealer. He was just a vagabond. He got a life sentence. Non-unanimous convictions rested entirely on the testimony of 2 arresting officers who did not find any Pepsi on Mr. Banks and instead claimed he threw it out while running from the officers. So they never even found it. They just claimed that he had it. That's crazy. The benefits of trying the case outweighs the cost. The benefit of applying Ramos retroactively would likely outweigh the cost. Louisiana spends nearly $600 million a year on its prison system, making it its global leader in incarceration, the most residents per capita. Although allowing new trials to all defendants convicted by non-unanimous juries would come at an administrative cost, is likely less burdensome than the alternative of ensuing individual convictions or non-unanimous verdicts remaining incarceration for life. Each day, Louisiana spends 78,826 incarcerating men and women who have convictions. So they're basically trying to make a case that it would be cheaper to try everybody, and then he's mentioned in this article. Look, I don't know. If what they're saying is completely true with his case, because they have an agenda, but he could have been bitter. He was convicted by non-unanimous jury. It's found federally unconstitutional. It seems that the cops claimed he had something and there was no proof according to that article, but he did great. And I think that we can look towards this hearing as to, look, you're put in prison. You can be. I actually forgot to mention that too. He had the aggravated sex write-ups. What does that mean? So I don't know what the aggravated means. I assume it does. It's nothing that required him to have sexual programs. How embarrassing too. His mother's on the phone. What a great. I like this mother. What a special lady. But maybe it's aggravated. Maybe it's something he's doing on his alone time and the guard walks in. I don't know, but I forgot about that one. Anyways, I think we can learn a lot from him. He turned what would have been a death in prison, and he made the best of it, and he earned his freedom. And I hope we don't see him again. We have seen people get paroled from life sentences get revoked. It happens quite often. It can happen easily, and I hope we don't see him again. And with that, I'll let you go.
Why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent? I mean, let me just be honest. I mean, I see lighter sentences for murder. So why do you think that you got a life sentence for nonviolent drug charge?